rentals. So this is the business license bylaw that was approved for, I believe it was January 1, 2016 is when these came into effect. Short-term rental, you can have one short-term rental license. That's an annual short-term rental license. However, you can also have another short-term rental that's less than 6 months. And so there's 3 kinds of short-term rentals. One's the annual, one's the summer, which goes from, I think it's May to August, May, June, July, yeah, it's 4 months. Or you can have a 31-day, one 31-day license a year. So those are the 2 kinds, the summer.
What's a 31-day license? What does that mean? You can rent it for a period of 31 days?
Yep. So if you want to rent it out, say for the month of January to someone who wants to come in and ski, you can do that, but only once a year.
Mm-hmm. So, but how, anything in 32 days becomes long-term rental across the board?
Yeah.
Okay.
No more than one 31-day license per year. No person shall operate a short-term rental unless they are the permanent resident, unless it's a summer one.
Right.
So a summer one, you don't need to be the permanent resident.
Okay, but that was not the old rules.
These are the new rules.
Right. So you're
January
kicking me
1,
out.
2016. And everybody, regardless of whether you were an existing B&B, council didn't care, everybody has to comply with these rules now. Doesn't matter what you did in the past. The only thing that matters in the past is whether you are grandfathered or not. And I think you should be grandfathered. So let's not discuss that anymore, because these are the new rules.
Okay.
You have to comply.
Okay.
And every year you have to apply for a business license. It's not, we don't send you renewal in the mail anymore. You have to come in.
Well, I always have.
Okay.
I always have.
So I just want to be clear
Yeah.
as to how this is going to work.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
So can you check and see if I do comply according to Brian?
Comply with what?
With Airbnb, because he was just at the house. I think he just wrote a note that said I do.
Do you comply with these rules?
I think so, if I bring Keegan in to live there.
Yeah, no. As long as you have a long-term tenant and he's living on site.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find somebody. If it's not Keegan, I'll find somebody.
Sure.
But that's fine, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. Sure. Just comply with the rules. That's all you got to do.
Well,
it's simple.
Well,
that's all you got to do. Okay. You don't need to take my word for it. Anybody else's. If you can demonstrate that you comply with these rules, then you're good.
Okay, I think we can. I think the
Okay.
inspector's been in. He's seen the place.
And so the things that you need to provide are proof of ownership of the premises, which shouldn't be a problem, proof of principal residence. So
like,
you are going to provide a contract, a lease agreement that says I'm living at this residence
for the
residence
next
for
X
yeah.
amount of time.
Yeah, anything that's long-term rental in, which is like 32 days or longer, right?
Right.
For the period of this short-term rental.
Okay.
So for the year, we need to say that this is the contract and he's living there for a year.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you know that I own it, so I have to bring you what to provide proof of ownership? A tax bill, an old license, an ID?
So, you need to fill out the business license application form, or have you already?
Well, I applied when I bought the house, when my old license applies, I suppose.
So you need to fill out this form.
Okay, I'll take it.
And on this form, it tells you how much it costs. It tells you everything else, and it tells you about parking requirements. Okay, so now are we at the point where we can talk about parking?
I think so.
Okay, good.
Thank you for your patience with
Okay.
my frustration.
No.
I have to live in this mind.
I am sorry that you're frustrated.
Well, good.
Okay, so here's my take on your parking situation. It's an interesting little rule that we have. So this is the new parking bylaw that came into effect on 2013. These regs do not apply to building structures or uses existing on the effective date of this bylaw, which was you. Except that off-street parking shall be provided and maintained in accordance with this bylaw for any addition to such existing building, and will be based on the new gross floor area. So, the key words for you is these regs don't apply to building structures or uses existing on the effective date of the bylaw. I didn't see anywhere where you were required to provide parking, and I didn't look, Val looked. And so, basically, we grandfather you no parking requirements, because the house is old, right?
Mm-hmm. Can I have a letter that says that?
No, I'm not gonna give you a letter that says that. This is my interpretation of this bylaw. And then, this other section here says, a change of use to an existing building, which is kind of what this was, because it was residential before 2013, is that right?
I bought
think
it.
so.
I
No,
bought
so I
it,
guess if
so I don't know what the
someone
people
lived
did
there.
before me.
Okay. A change of use to an existing building that does not result in new flora being created will not be required to provide additional off-street vehicle parking. So I think that's good. And then, you didn't provide any new floor area, and it's only if you provide a new floor area that you would require to provide parking. Now, the problem for you is that you are providing a new use.
Am I? What's the new use?
Short-term rental. But is it new? Because I don't really know what
No.
happened there.
I've been short-term rentaling for 4 years.
Yeah, but this bylaw came into effect in 2013. So the question is, were you doing this? Was this occurring? I don't really know. Prior to this bylaw coming
Well,
into
they were
effect.
working on my business license in 2011 to 12, because it took them 2 years to give it to me. Because I had to, because first, one of them moved to New Zealand, and one of them wanted, I put in an exit light, and I thought they meant exit sign, so I had this big red light in my living room,
Okay.
and I objected to it, and they meant a light that turns on so you can find the stairs.
So when did you buy this property?
I've had it 10 years this week.
So what did you do prior? What did you do on that property prior to 2013?
I kept it, I rented it to some people. And
Long-term rental.
Yeah, long-term rental,
Okay.
yeah. And I kept a room to myself, so I always had a room in the house. But I am not a resident of Canada.
Okay. The surprise to me is that you got a business license for a B&B without providing parking. So B&Bs required 1 stall per guest room. But for some reason you got a business license without anybody providing parking, which I don't understand why. Did no one ever talk to you about
Never,
providing
never,
parking?
and it was discussed. It was totally discussed. They should have them park on Hall Street. It was totally discussed. It was
With
discussed
who?
before.
Discussed with who? What was the name
John
of the?
and
John
Bernie.
Southam, okay. Yes, Bernie, okay. All right.
Because I don't really understand construction, and so John and Bernie their inspections weren't about living up to
So
the
here's
code. It
the
was to
deal.
make sure it was
I think
right.
that wasn't a mistake. I think that you should have been had to provide off-street parking like any other B&B in accordance with the parking bylaw that said you had to provide one, but they didn't. They didn't ask you to do that, and you've had a business license for 4 years, so I am going to say you are never required to provide parking, and therefore you don't, because you're not providing, even though you're a new use, you are not providing any new floor space.
And I'm a forced new use.
Sorry?
I'm a forced new use. To go from B&B to short-term rental, is that why I'm a new use? Because I'm going from B&B to short-term rental? Or is a new use from going residency to in 2013? What is, when you,
No, back in 2013.
oh, that's
You
when it
went
became
from
new use.
residential to this
But going
short-term
from a
rental or
B&B
B&B. No, it's not.
B&B to short-term doesn't count as new use. That's the same use,
It's just
more or
kind of a
less.
different name, but some of the
Well,
same
I know,
use.
I just wanted to get it
Yep.
clear, because I don't wanna go down the road.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so then we're settled on parking. Okay, so, may I review what I think I heard you say, so I'm
But
clear?
before we go there, do you have the ability to provide off-street parking anywhere?
I have the ability to provide off-street parking in the front of my house, yes, but if you do it, then it takes away 1 2-hour parking zone that no one can ever park in. Right now, it's a come and go parking zone. As soon as you turn that into a driveway, then my driveway's empty and it takes 1 full space off of our street forever.
Agreed. Do you have a
Which-
back alley?
I have a back alley.
And can you drive somewhere?
It's too steep of a hill. It's too steep of a hill. There would be accidents and wrecks.
Okay.
But I could, if I have a little place that the old owner cut out, the sign hasn't been moved over, and it could be a parking space, but what will happen is,
Then the off-street parking's screwed up.
The off-street parking, there's less
No,
of
don't
one
do that.
street, one street less for the neighbors and everybody, and in the many days it's not being used,